looked like, he with the wave to the crowd and the smile and everything, you were hoping that it was something that was minor, certainly not major, and then all of a sudden gone for the year as Drones picks up one, and then Griffin got hurt running back the opening kickoff of the second half.
That play on Tony Williams, I mean, that's one of those things you look and say that's legal, but doggone it, you didn't have to do it. So on one hand, you can't say that was an illegal hit. No, it's a legal hit. But I think just out of respect from one football player to another, I don't think you need that in this game.
No, you can tell George Foster was upset. He knew what had happened. It was a scene that we see too much. It's a cut block. It's a legal cut block, but it cost him the rest of the year. 3rd down and 4, and Ashley Lilly is able to pick up the first down. So how do you legislate against that? I mean, that's a legal block, but it's a dangerous block. I mean, what do you do?
I don't know. I mean, I think we can legislate against other things, like just unnecessary, unsportsmanlike conduct, something like that. To me, that's unsportsmanlike conduct. And, it didn't have to be. There was no reason. You didn't see it coming. You could have blocked him high. You didn't have to cut his knee. You didn't have to do that.
But again, according to the rule book, that was a legal block. 1st and 10, catch made. It's Lilly who, for the moment, appeared to have the first down. And now they're going to spot it, I think, a little bit short of it at the 47-yard line. No, maybe not. Let's see.
Mike Shanahan was telling Michelle that they kind of have to match the intensity of the Bengals. And I felt that the first half that the Bengals came out and had a little more intensity, or a lot of more intensity, than the Denver Broncos.
I thought they dictated the pace of the game early on, which was one thing. They couldn't let Denver dictate and play catch up with them.
Right, and Denver usually dictates the pace, and that's one of the things Marvin Lewis was talking about, is we have to stay with their pace.
Star Trek, the 3 key guys for the Denver Broncos and how they have done to this point.
It's interesting that Reuben Drones has 19 carries there, and he says he gets stronger. That he figures that he's not at optimum or full strength as a running back until his 25th carry.
Well, he carried 38 times last week against Oakland. And Plummer's going to air it out. And it is incomplete. The coverage by Delta O'Neal on the rookie wideout Darius Watts.
And you know that Mike Shanahan and his staff knows Delta O'Neal. He had him. He drafted him #1. In fact, he didn't like the way he practiced or the way he played defense. He tried to move him to offense. Remember, he moved him to wide receiver at the end of his time. Watts got up there pretty good, and Delta O'Neal gets his hands right up in between. You see, you can get up. If you don't get up as high as a guy, then you wait until he brings the ball down, and you get your hand in there as he's bringing it down.
Good coverage. 2nd down and 10. And Plummer has to take a timeout. 9:12 left in the 3rd. Cincinnati 13, Denver 7.
انضموا إلى عشاق سباقات الخيل حول العالم في تكساس لمتابعة أكبر وأعرق أحداث الموسم. أقوى الخيول وأعتد الفرسان في عرضهم الأخير ضمن أهم السباقات ذات أعلى الجوائز على الإطلاق. كأس بريدرز مباشرة من لون ستار بارك السبت في الأوقات التالية على أوربت espn.
أنا مش عايزة أقول لك إن أنت كنت السبب في فشل حياتي الزوجية.
عايز أعيش، عايز أتمتع.
أزمة، صحوة.
خطر دي يعني ولا إيه؟
أنا خايفة أوي.
لو حد سأل عليا قولي له في الجنة.
تعيش يا حبيبي وتاخد غيرها.
نور الشريف.
حق يا ماما. ده فعلا انتهى.
في مسلسل عيش أيامك كل يوم في 9:30 صباحا على قناة المسلسلات.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. You see Paul Brown Stadium, and right here is where the Reds play, the Great American Ballpark. And if this looks familiar to those of you watching soap operas, the edge of night used to open up for years with a shot of the Cincinnati skyline. That used to be the Central Trust Tower. So if that looks familiar, there's a reason. The old Carew Tower is down there as well. Not named for Rod, by the way.
You know way too much about Cincinnati.
Much too much. 2nd and 10, and that pass is incomplete, intended for Rod Smith. 3rd and 10. Of course, when you think of Cincinnati, you know, it's like the Green Bay Packers. We were talking about, you know, you think of Cincinnati, since they were the original team, I think people think Reds. Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those towns that is a baseball town, but they really do support the football, though. I mean,
No
you think of it as baseball, but here you look at this crowd and this stadium and what they are now, and then what Marvin Lewis has brought to this city.
3rd down and 10. Plummer over the middle and wide open, and getting free is Ashley Lilly. He found that soft spot, got wide open, and a big gain of 35 yards on a 1st down for Denver.
Yeah, the Bengals were in 6 defensive backs, and they were playing zone out of it. And watch what Jake Plummer does. He gets his pocket. He feels his tackles take the ends to the outside. He steps up. He knows Ashley Lilly is coming in that end. He waits a little while till he has that window and throws it right in there. Well, when you play a zone, you better get some bumps. You better reroute some guys.
From the 19-yard line on 1st down. Back to the ground. The Drones. And he can barely get out of the backfield on his 20th carry of the night. He's averaging close to 4.5 per carry. Since '99, take a look at this. Guys with back-to-back games of 175 or more rushing yards. Ricky Williams and Marshall Faulk have done it. That would be no surprise. But take a look at this. The Broncos have 3 guys who've done it. Olandis Gary in '99. Mike Anderson in 2000, and Reuben Drones. So we talked about that system. You look at those 3 guys and you say, well, where's Terrell Davis and where's Clinton Portis? You have 3 other guys in there. And that's caught by Rod Smith, and he is taken out of bounds at about the 10-yard line.
You know, one of the things that Reuben Drones was talking about is moving from fullback to tailback. You know the reads of the fullback. And so that helps you. You know that where you go as a blocker is where you run behind as a tailback.
He's a yard shy. It's 3rd down and 1 now from the 10-yard lines.
I think he has 2 things here. He either runs Reuben Drones or he keeps on a bootleg himself, because these are the types of plays that Jake Plummer is very, very effective at running and having an option, or if he doesn't like it, calling a timeout.
Yeah, but they're not effective at timeout utilization, because that leaves them with 1 over the last 22 minutes of the game. Shanahan says, oh, man.
162 مباراة في الموسم الواحد. تصفيات المجموعات. منافسات الأقصى. وأخيرا لقاء الخريف الكلاسيكي. نهائيات دوري البيسبول الأمريكي. تبث حاليا على أوربت espn.
تحياتي لكم مجددا.
خيمة رمضانية كل يوم في 6:30 مساء بتوقيت غرينتش على قناة فن.
Are you worried about what your children watch in your absence? Orbit's Simply Advanced technology offers you a more active role in controlling what they view. With Orbit's new enhanced double parental guidance protection options, allowing you to set viewing restrictions on all Orbit and free-to-air channels. Press the menu key on your remote control and highlight settings in the on-screen menu. Choose parental control and enter your personal 4-digit PIN code entry number. If you do not have a PIN code number, you will be prompted to create one, following the on-screen instructions. To lock a channel, highlight By Channel Lock and simply select the channel that you would like to block. To lock any program, simply highlight By Program Rating and select your desired rating level, activating your selection across all Orbit and free-to-air channels. Remember to validate each step by pressing the OK button on your remote control. Take control of your future. Orbit, leading the way.
Third and a big play coming up here, 3rd down and 1 after the timeout at the 10-yard line for the Denver Broncos. Jones is the running back. Jones gets the ball, and Jones gets stopped in his tracks. Some big 3rd down plays by both defensive units tonight.
Yeah, they are really playing that run, this Bengal defense. One thing you have to do is in short yardage, you have to get penetration. Watch the penetration that they get on this side. They get penetration. They're playing on the Broncos side of the line of scrimmage. When you get that many guys on this side of the line of scrimmage, this is going to happen.
Elam for a 29-yard field goal after Landon Johnson was the key guy on that last stop, the rookie. And the kick is good. So it's a 3-point game with 6:48 left in the 3rd quarter. 13-10 Bengals.
Your home for great golf action all month long is ESPN.
Right.
Nelly went with the lob shot.
Avoiding that big hump, and look at this.
And it was the
Great way to get to 2 under.
Empty backfield. Picked off for the 3rd time is the low. Shepard down the sideline. Lito Shepard takes it all the way.
And big time, and outside for Taylor, goes by Fortuna, gets by him, and here he goes, down the sideline. Fortuna is in for the touchdown.
Gambley in the air. We go to St. Louis with Houston in front 3 games to 2. The Miami Dolphins against the New York Jets. That's the attraction next week on Monday Night Football. Herman Edwards doing a great job with the Jets. Lost their first game of the season yesterday in a battle of unbeatens as the Patriots advanced to 6-0, and Miami got off the schneid against St. Louis, shocking the Rams at home.
The Rams played so well 2 weeks in a row. I mean, they get that comeback against Seattle last week on Monday night. They looked real good, and think, how can Miami beat them? Well, that's the NFL.
That's the NFL every week. Go figure.
Go figure this one thus far.
Sure. Bengals have never trailed. Moore's kick, 9-yard line. Kenny Watson. A pass the 30 to 33-yard line.
Hey, when did you start that talking from your stomach? You explain. I still don't understand. When did you start doing that?
A reminder to tune in tonight and every night for the next great edition of Sports Center in your area of the world. We will recap the top stories from around the world of sports with all the scores and highlights as well, right here on the worldwide leader in sports. For now, we're going to send you back to Cincinnati where the Bengals and Broncos are battling it out on Monday Night Football.
Managing the Reds in the early 70s. All I got to tell you is, how'd you like my barber in those years?
No, the barber was fine because that was a style, but the speaking from the stomach. Remember you were talking to John Gruden on how you do. I don't know that you were doing that then.
I think it's not when the Reds won the pennant in '72. No, because in those years, not only did the team go to the World Series, but if you were the local announcer, you got to do the World Series on national television.
That's why you were so excited.
That's why I was down there pouring champagne in the clubhouse. Bench hits a game-tying home run in the 9th inning, and Bob Moose was a wild pitch, and the Reds go on to face the A's in the World Series. That's knocked down by DJ Williams. It'll be 3rd down and 13. But, you know, we were talking before about the tradition in this city, and they love the Bengals. But, remember, the Reds got a 100-year head start on the Bengals because the Reds were formed back in 1869. The Bengals came in 1968 as an American Football League expansion team.
We were in the battle of the super teams. It was us, the Minnesota Vikings, the Cincinnati Reds, and the Yankees.
Old ABC made for TV event. 3rd and 13, and Kenny Watson takes the screen pass and can only get it up to the 38-yard line, and they're forced to punt. But remember, the Bengals came in, and Paul Brown founded the team. He was one of the owners of the team, coached the team after Paul had, had a Hall of Fame career, obviously, as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. And Paul, of course, passed away a number of years ago.
Paul Brown was a great coach. I mean, he was one of the all-time great coaches, and there's so many things that he started that everyone's doing now, like, calling the plays from the side. A playbook. He was the first coach that ever had a playbook. Meetings. He was the first coach that ever had meetings. A full-time coaching staff.
Paul Brown, one of the all-time greats. I mean, he's up there with, George Halas.
Tune in every Thursday during the NFL season for another edition of NFL Seminole. Hosts Alvaro Martin and Raul Alegre break down the week that was with a look ahead at the week at will be here on ESPN. That for our Latin American audience only. Another great edition of NFL Seminole coming your way this Thursday.
And they will become 2 of the great places to go. I mean, Lambeau Field in Green Bay, you can't beat that. Now, Paul Brown Stadium has some substance and some meaning to it.
And Drones has a tremendous hole, biggest of the night, provided by that line. Mediu Williams knocks him down, but not until he picks up a first down. That's 11 yards, and Drones has 97 now on 22 carries.
He's going to get right here on the right side there behind Dan Neal and George Foster. They just get on there, guys. They run that zone. And again, Reuben Drones gets the ball, squares his shoulders, and runs straight downhill.
1st and 10 at the 36-yard line. And Drones with a 100-yard night working off a Patrick Haight block. And, John, you talked about it. This guy telling us last night, he just gets stronger and stronger as the game goes on, and that's his 23rd carry.
Yeah, and the Broncos have something going here. They're using 3 wide receivers, and then the Bengals are using a nickel defense, taking out a linebacker, so they're running against 1 fewer linebackers. Once Haight gets that block in the outside, there's no other linebacker to fill that hole right there. This is what Mike Shanahan wants. Get your nickel defense out there and us run against it.
From the 49-yard line, caught out in the flat by Darius Watts. And Watts loses the ball, but out of bounds, so they retain possession. And he picks up about 8. It'll be 2nd and 2. It was knocked out of his grasp by Justin Smith.
You know what? That's an example of why a wide receiver shouldn't run out of bounds when he catches a ball. That if you break back in, you'll usually find something. I think the defense expected Watts to go out of bounds. Instead of going out of bounds, he makes that cut back inside.
Take a look at this. The play action passes. Jake Plummer, about 1/3 of his passes are play action, and that's very high. In the league as a whole, it's about 20%. But Plummer loves play action. It works with his offense beautifully, and his pass rating is higher on the play fake than conventional. 2nd and 2. Let's see what he does here with Drones as the back. Play fake to Drones. Nope, give to Drones. Gain of 1. Drones is saying, hey, man, he grabbed me by the helmet. Case Fajarn makes the tackle.
He's saying they grabbed me by the behind of the helmet. That's a rule that you can't grab the guy in that gap there underneath behind the helmet either. That's like the face mask. He's just trying to get one of those things. I'll say this Bengal defense is really playing against the run very well. I mean, I know Drones has 100 yards, but these guys are tackling well. They're playing aggressive. They're getting penetration.
3rd down and 2 from the 43. Plummer on a roll, throwing, and the pass is incomplete. Ashley Lilly had to stop. It looked like it was a little underthrown and go down and couldn't hold on to it. O'Neill with the coverage. It's 4th down.
I think that's one of the things Jake Plummer is trying to do, is put that ball down. And Ashley Lee has to come back for it. Sometimes you'll do that. He's coming out here rolling, and you see tight coverage. You bring your guy back. And Ashley Lee just dropped that ball. I mean, that was a good throw. In fact, that's a 3rd one that Ashley Lee has dropped tonight.
O'Neill is back. Micah Nord to punt. Flag. Lands in the end zone. Flag back at the 49-yard line.
I don't know if that's against the Broncos. I think I would turn it down and just take the ball to the 20-yard line.
Well, it was 4th down and 2.
Holding 39. That penalty is declined.
Yep.
First down, Cincinnati.
That's what they'll do. It's Kyle Johnson with a hold. Let's go to Michelle.
Guys, Chad Johnson's had a big first half so far. 5 catches, a touchdown included as a kid.
Monday Night Football on ESPN has turned out to be a pretty competitive ball game. The Bengals come in on a 3-game losing streak, but they're giving the Broncos all they can handle and then some. Broncos carry a 4-game winning streak in, but Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio, seeing a great effort out of their Bengals. Just 1-4 on the season, but looking tough tonight.
Fan of the Pink Panther, he had to be, as he makes the catch here on cue.
I think Chad Johnson just wants to be unique and different, and he is.
Single season record for receiving yards last season.
You know what he does well? He has good speed, but he has very good quickness. He doesn't have to slow down to make breaks.
2nd and 4 from the 26. Into a couple. Paul Harvey would say for the rest of the story, Michelle.
Well, Al, he's got 3 other old school cars. Now, I want you both, Al and John, to listen carefully, because I'm sure you can guess their color by their nicknames. If that pink car was called Piglet, he's got a car called Shrek, one called Scooby-Doo, and one called Batman. Can you guess the colors? Shrek, Scooby-Doo, and Batman.
I don't think we're going to pass this test, John. Green for Shrek, I think. 3rd down and 3. And that is intended for Johnson. And somehow he comes up with it. What a catch.
You know what? I just figured out that Batmobile has to be black.
Yep. They will put a color on that catch.
I'll tell you, this is against Champ Bailey again. Champ Bailey in man coverage. That time he's not looking to the quarterback. He's just watching Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson pushes him by him a little and then comes up with the ball, or down with the ball, or up with the ball, then brings it down.
Got away with a nice little push off on Bailey there as he collects his 7th catch of the night, 149 receiving yards. The ball is at the 50-yard line. Palmer, great protection. And it's caught, 13-yard gain. That time it's Reggie Kelly, the tight end.
You know, I think we're seeing Carson Palmer's coming out party here tonight as an NFL quarterback. He started out, he was pretty good in preseason and not bad early in the season. Then he kind of settled down into mediocrity, and he was struggling a little. But tonight he came out and he looks very confident, throwing the ball very well. But I'll tell you what, pass protection like that really helps. When you have that kind of time and you can use that kind of vision.
Put that pass in there just perfectly from the 36-yard line. Rudy Johnson is free. He's inside the 20, inside the 10. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Yards for Rudy Johnson.
The left guard, Eric Steinbach, number 65, made a heck of a block. He pulls across from the left guard over to the right side, and he makes the block. He makes the block that springs Rudy Johnson.
Shane Graham for the point after. And the Bengals are up by 10.
But Steinbach here, he's the left guard. He's going to pull and lead right here. Rudy Johnson is going to get right in behind him. You see, you have to get behind, let that left guard make that block right there. And his wide receiver gets a little bump, and then he's off to the races. Look about his wide receiver. There's Hushmanzada right there. He gets that block. That's not much of a block, but it just tied up to Noy Kennedy enough so that Rudy Johnson could get to the outside. Rudy Johnson turned on a little burner there, too, to get in the end zone, didn't he?
He did. His longest run of the season had been 19 yards in over 100 carries.
You know, one of the things that means is probably wide receivers haven't been blocking, because when you get a long run by a running back, there will usually be a pretty good block by a wide receiver.
We had Chad Johnson receiving, Rudy Johnson, Johnson and Johnson, and the Bengals right now have put the Broncos in a position where they need first aid. And you know, there's this thing about a trap game, and everybody's talking about a trap, and this is a typical trap game. You've got a team with a great record playing well against a team not playing well with a poor record. You keep talking about trap games, and this is a classic one.
Right, and one of the other reasons it's a trap game is against Cleveland last week. The Bengals looked close to inept.
And against Oakland last week, Denver looked fantastic. Leandros Luke from the 12-yard line back to the 30. And the folks here, 65,000, loving it Monday night in Cincinnati for the first time in 15 years. And the hometown team is up 20-10 after 3. Monday Night Football resumes after this message from our ABC stations.
For the thrills and spills of motorsports all season long is ESPN.
Leading break to right. Backing up. This is gone. One-two swing and a high fly ball right field deep. Backing up Nixon. Track wall, and it's gone. A home run for Hideki Matsui. Swing and a drive high and deep to left. Sailing up there and gone. A 3-run homer, and the Yankees are back out in front, 9-6.
The 2-1 pitch. Swing and a drive. Deep to right. Way back. And this ball is gone. Jump on his back, fellas. The Red Sox win.
Rounded. Diving play by Rowland from his knee. What a play by Scott Rowland.
The Fall Classic is here, and the road to success has been paved with disappointments and triumph. Now one last challenge stands in the way. Can anyone stop the Cardinals' offense? Is this the Red Sox team of destiny? Red Sox Cardinals Game 3 tonight live on ESPN.
In Cincinnati, Al Michaels, John Madden, and Michelle Tafoya. We start the fourth quarter. The Bengals about a touchdown underdog tonight, on top by 10, and the Broncos will have to come from behind. Jake Plummer with a screen pass here to start the fourth quarter. Reuben drones to about the 38-yard line. One thing about Plummer, he is a guy who has done it many times in his career, leading a comeback in the fourth quarter or overtime. And of course, Denver had as well, not Plummer's predecessor, but Brian Greasy's predecessor, the master at the comeback.
Right, and that's one of those things you say, you know, who would you like to have as quarterback when you're behind in the fourth quarter and you need 10 points? Jake Plummer isn't at the top of the list, but he's one of the guys at the top of the list.
Since '97, he's led 24 of them, and that would be best in the league since the '97 season, which is pretty amazing since a lot of that time was spent with the Arizona Cardinals, who didn't win very many games, period.
Did they just can the center? I haven't seen a center canned in years and years. Remember you used to play in the street, you'd say no can in the center? I think old Tom Neion just got canned.
He's an unlikely candidate to get canned, too.
Now, it's when the guy leaves before the ball snapped is when you get canned.
On the defensive nose tackle. 5-yard penalty results in the first down.
See, that's when you get canned, is when here he is right here, and if a guy leaves early, holy moly. I mean, that got Tom Neion and that got Jake Plummer. Watch him, boom, boom. That's a double can.
It's a double, yeah.
Hey, no can in the center or the quarterback.
Langston Moore with a multiple cannon. 1st and 10. And Plummer knocked down as he threw it. Kim Herring came in on the blitz. And now looking for a flag. It's a late flag. Kukar throws a late flag after consultation for intentional grounding.
This was a very good defensive call here because they blitzed Kim Herring into the side where Jake Plummer is trying to bootleg.
Intentional grounding, number 16 of the offense, also loss of down. The quarterback was in the pocket, and there was no receiver in the vicinity.
Agreed.
You see the blitz here. He's going to bootleg, and then he comes out here to bootleg, and the first thing that he sees is Kim Herring, who is coming on a blitz on the side that Jake Plummer is rolling to.
16-yard penalty, clearly in the pocket, clearly nobody to throw to. 73 yards against the Broncos tonight. They spread it out. Plummer from the gun throws inside. Nate Jackson makes the catch, the 5th receiver, for a short gain.
You know, one of the things the Broncos talked about last night is not letting the Bengals offensively get into a rhythm. But I'll say this, the Bengals defense haven't let the Broncos get into a rhythm tonight.
And a lot of big plays. 3rd down and 19. Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator, former Chicago Bear defensive back. 3rd and 19. And Plummer gets enveloped at the 23-yard line. And Leslie Frazier, for him, this is a little bit of sweet redemption. Last week, Marvin Lewis took over calling the defensive signals, which is always a chagrin moment for a defensive coordinator, and now Leslie gets it back tonight.
Right, and he's doing a heck of a job in mixing in 4-man rush, 5-man rush, 6-man rush, bringing linebackers, bringing secondary. He has kept this Bronco offense off balance all night.
So on 4th and 29, Mike Ganor to punt. Fielded 34. O'Neal got a 6-yard run back to the 40-yard line. And the Cincinnati Bengals, who haven't won since week 2, with 12:45, get the ball back and lead by 10.
ESPN Sport Legends presents Lance Armstrong. In 1993, Lance Armstrong established himself in the cycling world. 3 years later, cancer put him on his deathbed.
I was scared, you know. I was scared that I wasn't going to make it. I was scared that I was going to die.
3.5 months after facing the prospect of death, Armstrong's blood test came back normal. Some 3 years later, he was back in the Tour de France. Armstrong unexpectedly won the prologue.
was the one and only time I've cried in the Tour de France in the last 5 years. And just the symbolism of putting on the yellow jersey.
The next time they saw him was when he was doing a parade lap in Paris with the yellow jersey on.
I think that Lance Armstrong's story transcends sports because we've really seen somebody come through a personal holocaust and persevere.
No equipment needed. Only your hands and your heart. And according to the outcome, you will live 3 minutes of hell. Or 3 minutes of glory. Friday Night Fights on ESPN.
Our reflections on that massive match at Old Trafford played on Sunday, and a preview of UEFA Champions League match day 4 coming up on the next edition of ESPN SoccerNet Press Pass on Friday on ESPN.
Paul Brown Stadium opened in 2000, 5th season here for the Bengals, and the biggest crowd ever, 65,806.
I don't think any of them have left, do you? I think every single one of those 65,806 are still in their seats.
This is a party they've been waiting for a long time, and so far so good for the Cincinnati Bengals as Rudy Johnson picks up about 3 on the ground to the 44. Here's Michelle.
Al and John, something to watch. Chad Johnson has a contusion on his left knee. He's been limping along the sideline throughout, basically since they came out for the second half. He's playing hurt. Also, wide receiver Kelly Washington is done for the night. He has a sprained left ankle, Al.
Kelly Washington caught 1 for 16 yards. Chad Johnson, 7 catches, 149.
Peter Warwick has been playing in and out most of the night, but he has yet to catch a pass.
2nd down and 7. And Johnson works his way out of traffic to the 39-yard line. Al Wilson had him and then lost him, the middle linebacker, and it's a 17-yard gain, and Johnson has now run for 90 yards.
I think they're on a run blitz, and Al Wilson is sitting right in the hole. And this is what you do when you're a running back. You have to keep your feet moving, and that's what Rudy Johnson does. He's making cuts, but he keeps his feet going. Never stop your feet, never get them crushed. You see the feet are up and under, they're going all the time, and you'll be surprised how many tackles you can run through doing that.
From the 39-yard line, Palmer, deep and incomplete. And that was Peter Warwick, covered by Kelly Herndon. John Lynch again, mic'd up tonight.
Everybody in here tight. Everybody in here tight. Everybody in here tight. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, everybody just got to do your job, right? This defense works. We know it. Everybody just do your job. Let's play hard. We'll get the ball back. Come on. Come on. Come on.
That defense has played very hard in the 4th quarter of this season. The Broncos have allowed only 3 points all season in the 4th quarter, which means obviously no touchdowns. And they're the only such team in the league to be able to boast of that as Rudy Johnson gains a couple to the 37-yard line.
You know what I liked about that first down pass is they go deep. You keep stretching the defense. You don't let them ever relax or ever tighten up on you. And if they want to tighten up after Rudy Johnson runs a couple, then you try and go deep on them. And I'll say this, Bob Bratkowski is the offensive coordinator here, and he has really kept the pedal to the metal.
Son of Zeke. There he is to the left. That's Zeke Bratkowski, longtime NFL quarterback. 3rd down and 8 from the 37-yard line. Palmer's flushed out, gets it away as he gets contacted. Ellis Johnson had a hand on his ankle, and the pass is incomplete.
You know, one of the things that Bob Bratkowski was saying is they want to get some plays in chunks. You know, that they've been getting, you know, I mean, you know, Rudy Johnson get 2 or 3 yards, you finally complete. That's what an offensive coordinator goes through on change of possession. You know, and you just talk to someone up there, you raise your hands like that, but they have been getting chunks. I mean, you know, they got big plays by Chad Johnson. Rudy Johnson has got some bigger runs, and that is what they need. That's what they haven't had in this offense this year.
Kyle Larson. And you got a flag. Bunch of them, in fact.
Ball start. 91 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Robert Gathers, nephew of Jumpy Gathers, long-time NFL defender.
Yeah, he was Jumpy Gathers was a heck of a defensive tackle. He's one of those guys that didn't make a lot of all-pros or didn't do, but no guard in football wanted to play against Jumpy. I mean, he had that forklift move where he would just pick you up and walk you right back to the quarterback. He embarrassed more guards than anyone in the history of the game.
High floating kick, bouncing at the 10. And the Bengals will pin the Broncos deep. Reggie Miles downing it, 10-13 remaining in the 4th. And the Bengals on top 20-10.
Welcome to a world where the students become the masters. A world where high achievement isn't just an expression. A world where the stars rise up in the sky. Welcome to the wonderful world of college football on Orbit ESPN.
من الجمعة إلى الثلاثاء إنهما أكثر من صديقين.
I'm here for you. Just like you're always here for me.
What do you need?
Have you guys gotten any of those messages from Grace? Blah, blah, blah. Love you.
وأقل من حبيبين. لا تفوتوا الموسم الجديد من الكوميديا الحائزة على جائزة أمي ويل جريس.
Everybody from the Matrix called. They want their coat back.
من الجمعة إلى الثلاثاء.
How was your flight? I live in Brooklyn. I took the subway.
في 10:30 مساء في توقيت الرياض فقط على السوبر كوميدي.
Getting married is a big step.
Oh my God.
But the biggest challenge
I can't find my underwear. Can I mail them to you?
Yes.
What is going on here?
Is making it to the altar.
Because I wanted.
Apologize for the other night. Oh, and for never mentioning that you were marrying my cousin.
If there is anyone here today who believes that these two should not be joined, and it doesn't even have to be a good reason, you know.
It's all about a guy thing. Wednesday at these local times, new and exclusive on Super Movies.
Martinez will be on the mound for the Sox, who lead this best-of-7 Fall Classic 2 games to none.
They're up by 10. They've led all the way on the banks of the Ohio River with 10 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in regulation. And the Denver Broncos will start this drive from their own 10-yard line. Plummer underneath, intended for Reuben Drones. He's covered by the linebacker Brian Simmons. 2nd down.
Yeah, we talked about the Broncos using a lot of 3 wide receivers, but the Bengals are really doing a good job in the tight end, because one of the things on those play action passes and bootlegs, they like to drag that tight end across the field, and the Bengals just aren't letting him off the line of scrimmage or get across the field.
Again, they're missing their number 1 tight end, suspended for a game in Carswell. Pape and Pucci are in there tonight. 2nd down and 10 from the 10. Swing it out to Drones. And he'll get stopped there for a gain of about 3. You know, last week, John, Cincinnati doesn't look good. They're not playing well. The Broncos look terrific. You know, that MasterCard commercial where it ends with priceless. You know, this costs this and this. I'm thinking they should do a commercial. Stock picks and football predictions. Worthless.
Yeah, I mean,
worthless.
That's what I think the NFL stands for, is never figure league.
Yeah, this year.
That once you think that you know something, or you know who's going to win, or who's better, boom, it just goes just the opposite.
As we said at the beginning, we're walking around town and people are saying, do we have any chance at all to win this game? 3rd down and 7 from the 13-yard line. Plummer. Intercepted by Torrey James. And the ex-Bronco is finally pushed out of bounds near the 20-yard line.
So much for a hamstring on Torrey James. They blitzed 2 defensive backs from the right side on that one. Put the pressure on Jake Plummer. He gets it, and he just throws that one up. There was no way he was going to complete that. There were 2 Bengal defenders there, and his one receiver, Rod Smith. See that? They had him double covered. He just threw that one up for grabs. See, here comes the pressure from this backside. They pick it up pretty well, and I think that right now that Jake Plummer's starting to get a little frustrated, and he's starting to press a little.
From the 20-yard line, 1st down. And Johnson for a gain of 2. 2nd down and 8. You know, we began by showing you, this was on the front page of the paper. Please don't embarrass us. Well, anything but to this point tonight.
No, they didn't. I mean, they came out and they were ready to play in all areas. I mean, it's not only their offense and their defense, but I'll tell you another area, their special teams. Their kick returns, their punt returns, and their punt team.
2nd down and 8. Eating up more clock, Johnson. And we talked about a trap game, and that's a phrase so often used. You look at the Broncos schedule, and no coach is going to tell you, you know, it's an easy schedule. But at Cincinnati, they go home next week to play Atlanta. They stay home, they play Houston. They have a bye week. They go to New Orleans. They have Oakland at home. And there are a lot of trap games in there.
Right, and in today's NFL, you know, what is an easy game? I mean, what is a cinch game? There's no such thing anymore.
3rd down and 7. Almost halfway through the 4th quarter. Palmer out of the gun. Lynch blitzing. And the pass is underthrown. He tried to get it out to Kenny Watson. Pressure was on, and Reggie Hayward, the defensive end, went back into coverage that time.
Right, that was that zone dog where you bring the blitz from one side, then you drop the end on the other side. And this is the matchup that you want to get, though. I mean, you want to get your guy out there. He sees that he has it. It doesn't get any better than that. A running back on a defensive end. So it was a great read by Carson Palmer, just not a great throw.
35-yard attempt for Shane Graham, who's already kicked one from 50.